What's up guys, this is Miasin. So yesterday I uploaded a Blue Eyes combo video and deck profile, and obviously I promised you guys the spreadsheet as soon as we would hit 1,000 likes, which we managed to get, so you can expect the spreadsheet video as soon as possible, as soon as I can make it, because at the end of the day, 10 combos featuring a bunch of lines, how to beat hand traps and everything, it will take some time. But in the meantime, I have some more Blue Eyes content that doesn't really necessarily involve combos, and today I will be explaining to you what I think are the best tech cards or engines that you can splash in Blue Eyes that will make a lot of sense when we will be getting the new structure deck. So you already know the drill. If you want some more Blue Eyes videos, smash the like and subscribe button, and also huge shoutouts to my sponsors, Inspire TCG as well as Dueling. If you want to get your hands on the best deck boxes, mats, and everything, make sure to check out Dueling and use the coupon code YASIN656 for 5% off. The link will be in the description box below, and with that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so first things first, the first card that I will be reviewing will be Piri Race Map. There's not much to talk about with this card. All I can search is a level 1 monster with 0 attack from your deck to your hand at the start of your main phase 1. So this card is indirectly once per turn, and also you have to halve your life points. And until you normal summon that monster, it can't use its effects until the end of the next turn. So you can't really search like Effect Veiler unless you normal summon it, which is really, bad. And also same thing with Ash. And if you want to search the Maiden of White or something, I forgot the name, but whatever, the good one, you're also going to have to normal summon it. You can't just use its effect right away from the hand. This card just creates a lot of bad redundancy that I don't think you need anymore, because we have the Neo Kaiser Seahorse, which is a new 1-card combo. So I just don't think that this card is needed whatsoever. Even though it is a consistency card and it is a 1-card combo, I just don't really think you need it for anything. Pod Prosperity, on the other hand, I think is a consistency card that you might want to look into. This card is not really good if you play a lot of hand traps, because if you're going second and use Prosperity, when you're excavating hand traps going second, they're basically just blanks. Whereas if you're playing board breakers with Pod Prosperity, it's really good. You can excavate Super Poly, Forbidden Droplet, etc. Nobody really wants to negate Prosperity, but if you're excavating 6 cards, then it might be an Ash bait. And if it becomes an Ash bait, then it means that your prayers with Eyes of Blue start, it actually starts resolving. So you can pretty much ensure that your engine resolves using non-engine cards, but I guess you can say Prosperity is an engine card, but it doesn't create useless redundancy like Piri Race Map, because nobody's ever going to be ashing a Piri Race Map. They will be ashing the prayers instead, and it's not like it really helps you push, extra. Whereas Prosperity, it's either a starter or an extender or a way to dig into board breakers if you are playing board breakers. So I think Prosperity is a remarkable card for Blue Eyes. The one drawback is that if you're banishing 6 cards from your extra deck, it might hurt a little, because you're gonna have to know exactly what to banish, and if you are playing Super Poly, you're gonna have to banish all the targets that you know it will not come up. And if you don't have Super Poly in your deck, then I don't know. I really don't know how you plan on banishing 6 cards with this card, because you need a lot of cards for Blue Eye Spirit and all the targets, etc. Still a very good card though. Anyways, now we've got Melody of Awakening Dragon. This card can search up to 2 dragons with 3,000 attack or more and 2,500 or less defense. There are a few targets, but honestly the only really good ones would be Chaos Dragon Levineer and Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. You could also search Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, which is not too bad. But I mean, if you're only really using Melody in order to get these cards and not really do anything productive, maybe it's not worth it. I just don't think that this card is super strong, and it is not an Ash bait. Nobody will ever Ash this unless you also have like your whole engine in rotation. Honestly, it just makes your deck rely on more bricks too, because you're not really trying to play a lot of high level monsters anyways. They do nothing on their own. You have to already have your stuff going. So this is in no way a consistency card, and that's the reason why I don't really recommend Melody. But if you're playing like a combo heavy version of Blue Eyes, then this card is an absolute must. You're gonna have to play 3 copies of this with 1 Levineer, 1 Alternative, and 1 Chaos Max with, of course, the Ultimate Fusion, which I will be going over very soon. Now, if you're already playing Melody of Awakening Dragon with Levineer, Alternative, etc., you might as well play Chaos Space, because I think that this card's pretty nice. You can pitch a light or dark monster from your deck from your hand to the grave, and then search a light or dark monster that cannot be normal summoned or set from your deck to your hand with a level from 4 to 8. As you can search the Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, the White Dragon Wyver Burster, the Levineer, the Alternative, or the Chaos Max, because none of these cards can be normal summon or set, which actually really works in your favor. And now that we have the new Link 1, the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, or the Spirit with Blue-Eyed or something, the weird name, but whatever, you can actually summon that card with any of the baby dragon. It's not like you have to go into like a Striker Dragon for no good reason that doesn't even really search anything. and then you can go into like a Dragon Ravine or something, and you can keep playing, or you can make a Heretic Seal. There are a lot of nice options, so the baby dragons are quite decent cards. Really recommend looking into them. The one issue is that the White Dragon Wyvern Burster, if you draw it, it doesn't really do much of anything, because you can only summon it by banishing a dark monster from the grave, which is easy to do when you have Chaos Space access, but if you physically just draw this card and nothing else, then I don't really think the Blue Eyes deck plays enough dark monsters to make this card naturally live. Okay, next up is what I think is an extremely good engine, and a lot of potential might be inside it. So it's the Dragon Ravine and Dragunity Remus. It's pretty decent, but this card, it also has like drawbacks, well, 2 drawbacks. So first of all, it can only be used as a synchro material for the synchro summon of a Dragunity monster, but worst case, you just link it off and it's still kind of playable. So it's not like you can go into Bestial Dispatter, for example. With that said, this card is a level 2 tuner, where in the hand, you can discard it to search a Dragon Ravine from your deck to your hand, so it's a decent card to draw. And if you control a Dragunity monster, you can revive it back from the grave. So if you have, I don't know, like Dragunity Knight Romulus, then you can revive this back. And it's a level 2 tuner, like I said, so you can use it and a Blue Eyes Dragon, Blue Eyes White Dragon, to summon this card right here, Dragunity Knight Ariad Bear. This card is super scary because it can negate the activation and banish any monster that tries to use its effect from your opponent, even like in the hand. So your opponent can use Nibiru and then you can negate it by banishing a Dragunity monster from the grave. And it has like 2 other effects where I think when it destroys a monster, you banish that monster. And if this Synchro Summon card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you destroy every single spell or trap your opponent controls. And you can summon it using just Dragunity Remus and any Blue Eyes White Dragon. You might have to commit to like a bigger Dragunity package, and I don't know if that's necessarily something that Blue Eyes is trying to do. Now, if you still want to make some nice level 10 Synchro monsters and you don't want to play Dragunity Remus, you can play this card right here, the Ringworm, the Dragon Guarding the 100 Apples. That's like the longest name, I think, almost in Yu-Gi-Oh! Might not be, maybe Harbinger is longer, but yeah, this card's pretty cool in Blue Eyes. It has a lot of inherent synergy, and if you draw it, it gets even better, and it can do a lot of things. So first of all, it's still a level 2 Dragon Tuner, so you can make the Link 1 Blue Eyes with it, but it has some nice effects. So it's a triple extender in the deck. It has 3 different layers of pushability, I guess. So first of all, if you face-up non-effect monsters on the field, so Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can special summon this card from your hand, so that's the first layer extension. And then during your main phase, if you synchro summon this turn, which is super easy to do in Blue Eyes, you can banish it from the grave and then special summon a 100 Apples token. It's a Wyrm, but it's a level 2, and you can treat it as a tuner or as a non-tuner for a synchro summon, and all those effects are once per turn. So that's the second layer of extension. And the third one is you have access to Bestial Dispatter, which can then revive this back from the banished, because it's a card that banishes itself. So it's a card that can make you push a lot. You can make a Heretic Seal with it, you can make a Dispatter with it, and then you can make another level 10 Synchro with it, such as Cheng Ying, or I guess if you want to make a Chaos Angel, you can do that. The issue is that it's a level 2 light monster, so your deck already plays all the light monsters in the world. You won't be able to make a light and dark Chaos Angel, which would have been absolutely cracked. I will personally try to make some combos with this card, and it's another card that you can foolish using Dragon Ravine. Okay, so next up we've got Chaos Max and Ultimate Fusion. Not much to say, this card's kind of a brick, but you can Ritual Summon it, I guess, with the Trap card, the new one. Forgot the name, but it's a pretty decent card. But you're not really trying to physically draw Chaos Max, you're trying to foolish it or search it just to use it as a fusion material for Ultimate Fusion to make Dragon Master Magia. So it's not like back in the days where people were trying to draw Chaos Max and Ritual Summon it to kill their opponent. Rather, they're just using it as a material with Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in order to summon this. So Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, ironically, is the easy one to get because of the graveyard effect of Prayers with Eyes of Blue. You can equip your one of your Blue Eyes with a Blue Eyes monster from your extra deck. So that's one of the 2 materials. And this card, obviously, if you can summon Magia or Magia, whatever, you kind of just win the duel, especially if you can summon it on your opponent's turn with Ultimate Fusion to navigate, well, I mean, mitigate the impact of Dark Ruler, Droplet, etc. So yeah, very nice package. This card right here might actually help you out with getting access to Chaos Max, or just, you know, comboing off a little better, or also serving as a semi-extender. So it's Majesty with Eyes of Blue. It is not searchable because it doesn't mention Blue Eyes White Dragon, but it has a very interesting effect. So it reads, send 1 Blue Eyes monster from your hand or deck to the grave, then target 1 face-up monster on the field. It cannot attack while it is face-up on the field, and you can only activate 1 Majesty with Eyes of Blue once per turn. So first of all, the first thing that I thought of when I read this card was, oh, you can use it against Standby Dragon Chandra, and then maybe they can't really kill you this turn. That's kind of wishful thinking because that's assuming that their only combo is normal summon Chandra battle phase attack. It's not, you know, it's not gonna happen too often. But what is very interesting about this card is that first of all, it sends any Blue Eyes monster from your hand or deck to the grave, so you can send Chaos Max, and also it targets a monster on the field, even on your field. So you can target your level 1 monsters with Eyes of Blue, such as the new Maiden monster, and then use her effect in order to revive back a level 1 spellcaster. And you're also Foolishing for a Blue Eyes, so you can do some nice plays with this card. I think it's relatively decent, but it's not super fantastic. Next up, we have the Primordial Engine, which I think is extremely good. I've made a video with this package in the Phantasmal Spiral deck. It's kind of slow because obviously it's just a bunch of normal monsters, so it's not like they have effects that allow you to, you know, fully pop off. But this card can search a lot of dangerous cards, and the first one that came to my mind was Primordial Tremors. So you pay 2,000 life points and then declare one normal monster's name, always going to be Blue Eyes White Dragon. And then if you control no monsters, you summon a Blue Eyes, well, the card that you declared from your deck, in defense. It doesn't really have any drawbacks in particular, and then other than paying 2,000 life points. And then until the end of your opponent's next end phase, whatever, next turn, your normal monsters with that name and primordial monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. And also in the graveyard, you can banish it when your opponent normal summons a monster in order to, you know, banish any monster on the field with lower attack than one of the normal monsters that would be in your field or graveyard. And Blue Eyes has 3,000 attack, so if your opponent summons a monster with like 2,900 attack, you can banish it, and then, you know, banish this card from the grave, and then banish any monster on the field with that with lower attack than Blue Eyes. So it's a good card. It can be not only a semi-starter, but also an interruption on your opponent's turn. And again, you are diversifying your interruptions because you don't have anything, everything that is just like on your field. So even if you get hit by Dark Ruler, Super Poly, Droplets, whatever, this is still an interaction that you have access to in order to hurt your opponent. And also your Primordial Imperial Load, not only does it search this card, but also it can also special summon Blue Eyes from your deck. But unlike Tremors, this card has a huge drawback because you cannot activate special summon monsters effect for the rest of the turn if you choose to summon a normal monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard with its ignition effect. So yeah, that's just the one thing that you have to keep in mind. Anyways, now we have the Abyss Duel Engine. This is kind of like a no-brainer. It's always been good, I want to say, in Blue Eyes because just a bunch of a bunch of dragon monsters, and they're also hand shops, so they help you out for going second. And there are also some nice engine cards because, you know, Lubellion gets you so much advantage just on its own. It gets you access to Magna Mode, which is broken. It searches, you know, any of your dragon monster on the end phase. It doesn't even have to just be bestial monsters. It can search other things like Levinier, for example. And then you get access to Regain, which gives you pretty much an infinite grind game. Your opponent wants to banish your Blue Eyes, no problem. Put it back on the bottom of the deck, draw one card. It almost helps you out. So yeah, overall very good cards, I recommend. Alistair the Invoker, yeah, it's not just a meme. People going normal summon Alistair effect in 2024 is gonna be real. And this card is shockingly really good in Blue Eyes now, just because of the new Link 1 monsters. So you can go normal summon Alistair, get your search for an invocation, make the new Link 1, search the Mausoleum of White, and then Foolish for Blue Eyes, and then revive back Blue Eyes, and then use invocation, banish the Alistair and the Link 1. So that gets you Makaba and Blue Eyes White Dragon using only one single Alistair, 6,500 damage with one card. And you get yourself access to like an interruption. You can negate any monster effect right away with Merkaba. So if your opponent had like Nibiru, it's not gonna beat you. So yeah, Alistair and Sage with Eyes of Blue, for example, is full combo through pretty much like every hand shop that you can think of. It's pretty cracked. And next up, we have another engine that I think is remarkable in Blue Eyes and might be even better than the Alistair package, because this also helps you beat Dark Ruler, Droplet, etc. And that would be the Metal Zoa, not Metal Zoa, the Metal Morph engine with the Black Metal Dragon, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, and Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon. Yeah, so you go normal summon the Black Metal, and then link it off into the new Link 1. And then, yeah, you get to summon this, and then revive back your Black Metal, and then make another Link 1 or Link 2, whatever, and then that gets you your search for the Black Full Metal Dragon, which gets you your Enhanced Metal Morph, and on the opponent's turn, even if you get all of your monsters negated, you can use the Enhanced Metal Morph to summon this from the deck, which guarantees you an Omni-Negate through Dark Ruler Droplet, because you're not supposed to shotgun this card immediately on draw phase, standby phase. And even if your opponent had like the Evenly, then at the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can go Enhanced Metal Morph, summon this, and then you're already ready for the Evenly. Or you can just tag out your Blue-Eye Spirit into Blue-Eye Spirit Ultimate Dragon, which can also negate Evenly anyways. So yeah, pretty nice engine. Really recommend testing it out. Probably, like I said, even better than the Invoked engine, although the Invoked engine is also very good. So I will be making videos with both of these engines. Now, this engine, it's either good in Blue Eyes or the Blue Eyes cards are good in this deck. It's the White Forest package. It's definitely worth looking into. So pretty much with a Stellar and LZ, you can pitch your spell or trap and then summon these cards and then, summon this card from the hand and then get a search. Or, you know, go normal summon a Stellar, send a spell or trap, and then special summon a White Forest monster from your deck, which would usually be a Sylvie. And then that gets you a search for a White Forest spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. So you're gonna have to denaturalize your Blue Eye strategy and almost turn it into a White Forest deck. But you can play a very small package to the point where that doesn't really hurt you too much. They're nice extra extenders, and the fact that they're level 4 lower spellcaster monsters mean that they can all turn into the new Link 1 monster. And you also have some level 4 tuners, so you can use your level 4 tuners and your Blue Eyes in order to make Crimson Dragon, which can search Synchro Rumble, and then revive back your tuners or level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchros. So yeah, there is nice potential for sure. Now, next up, just like the White Forest engine, we have an engine that can either be splashed in Blue Eyes or be played as a standalone deck, and that would be the Destruction Swordsman, or I guess Buster Blader package. It's really good because the Sage with Eyes of Blue can search Buster Whelp, and then obviously with Mausoleum of White, you get an extra normal summon for the Buster Whelp, which can search your Prologue, which also is a way to respect Nibiru, yes, Nibiru, but also Dark Ruler, Droplet, etc. Because you diversify your interruption by searching a trap card, which is very important, so that even if you get all of your monsters negated, all of your spirits, whatever, it's fine. You're not going to lose too much to that, and you're also going to be summoning a very nasty Synchro monster and a Fusion monster that is pretty much like a skill drain for your opponent only, so it's really unfair. But the drawback of this package is that you have to play 2 Garnets in your deck, the Buster Blader and the Destruction Sword Memories. I say that they're Garnets and not Akatomborgs because this card, unfortunately, it has to foolish those cards exactly from the deck to the graveyard, not from the hand or deck. So if you draw them, this card does nothing now. So you're gonna have to find a way to either shuffle them back into the deck or play multiple copies of these cards. So I think, honestly, you shouldn't really try to splash a Buster Blader package in Blue Eyes, but rather splash a Blue Eyes package in Buster Blader. I think that makes a little more sense. Anyways, a 10 by Dragon engine could also work in Blue Eyes, because at the end of the day, they're all dragons, so why not? You can still make Heretic Seal or Romulus with these cards. You can also Synchro Summon using the Chandra and Blue Eyes in order to make Crimson Dragon, which is, again, decent synergy. And you can kill your opponent now with pretty much just 1 card. And you don't really play any bad cards necessarily other than Fadra, which is, like, not really the end of the world. I mean, it's the only card that doesn't really kill your opponent on the spot. And then finally, we're looking at not necessarily the engines, but just the cards that are just overall good in Blue Eyes that I think you might want to consider. Magician's Souls is a card that is just generically nice. You can also play some engines that get you a lot of spells and traps using pretty much like almost nothing, like the Brave Token engine, so Rite of Aramesia, whatever. The issue is that it prevents you from using the effects of your normal summon monsters, so it clashes really hard with Sage with Eyes of Blue. But then you can still kind of play with the Maiden of White effect and everything from the hand, so it's not necessarily the end of the world, but you're also playing a lot of bricks in your deck, all of that just to draw 2 cards with Magician's Souls. I'm almost making it so that it doesn't look that good, but the fact that Magician's Souls is a card that can make you draw a bunch of cards, and also you can turn it into the Link 1, because, again, the Link 1 requires any level 4 lower dragon or spellcaster, so that's the reason why I'm going over a bunch of dragons and spellcasters. They all have inherent synergy with Blue Eyes now. Every single one of them. That's the reason why making this video took a while, because I had to look through every single level 1, 2, 3, or 4 dragon or spellcaster monster and try to figure out if they could work in Blue Eyes. And a bunch of them, they looked like they could, but they kind of sucked. Like, for example, the Cintron engine. But yeah, Magician's Souls, it could work out depending on your hand. And then we also have Drool and Effect Veilers. I made a video yesterday showing how you can draw like 2 Effect Veilers, and that still gets you to Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. You can also draw Drool and Effect Veiler, and that gets you there. You normal summon the Drool, and then you make it into the Link 1, and then search the Mausoleum of White, and then normal summon Effect Veiler, and then send Blue Eyes by Dragon, tribute to the Link 1, and then revive back the Blue Eyes, and then Synchro. So that's just really cool. If you draw 2 Drool and Logbird, it doesn't do anything, but if you draw 2 Veilers or 1 Veiler, 1 Drool, it's pretty good. And finally, we have Quakimeru Drago, which can be a monster that you summon off of a Hieratic Seal, but you're not really trying to main deck this card. But it's very good in the mirror match, actually. It destroys Blue Eyes and Yubel decks, for example. And then finally, we have some nice... you could side deck them or even main deck them at this point. Scale Drain goes in match, and even the Ultimate Creature of Destruction. Very annoying to have to deal with this card if you're playing like a trap deck, because now the Blue Eyes monster that you target is unaffected by card effects and indestructible by battle. So unless you link it off with like Underworld Goddess, there is pretty much no way to out it, or I guess like the Kaijus and stuff like that. But yeah, there is pretty much no other way to out it. Oh, obviously, yeah, there's also Destructive Daruma, Karma Cannon, and Evenly. But that's another story for another day. And finally, I wanted to go over some cards that might look like they're good in Blue Eyes, but I really do not recommend. Unlike these cards kind of suck, and they are a trap, I want to say. The first one is Dictator of D. It's way worse than Neo Kaiser Seahorse. Do not play this card. Cards of Consonance. This card looks good because it used to be good, but things have changed completely because the Blue Eyes deck used to be a deck where you just turbo out and draw a bunch of cards using Cards of Consonance and trade in because it was very inconsistent, and you had to just get a lot of cards in the grave so that you can keep drawing and searching and deck thinning so that you can use your Return of the Dragon Lord. I forgot the name of the Monster Reborn. And you could also use a Soul Charge, which was the best card in the Blue Eyes deck. Very sad. But now the deck is no longer the same. So you really should not play Cards of Consonance. And it also makes you play way harder into Droll for no good reason. And not to mention that it's also not an Ash bait. Nobody that is smart will ever Ash Cards of Consonance or trade in. So yeah, really do not recommend. But Whitestone of Ancients is actually the better card because you can discard Whitestone of Ancients with Prayers, and then on the end phase that summons the Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon, which then searches your Chaos Max Dragon, which is one of the fusion materials for Ultimate Fusion. So if there's one level 1 monster that you might want to consider, it would be Whitestone of Ancients. But this card right here is also not too bad, the Master with Eyes of Blue. It has some decent combos, but it's also not like super ideal. And this card right here, it looks good, but it's actually dog shit. It can search 2 Blue Eyes monsters with different names or deck your hand if you target it, I think, and then you also have to send like an effect. It's garbage. It's just not good. Don't even try to like reason with this card. There is really nothing that you can search that is worth it with Priestess with Eyes of Blue. And yeah, speaking of garbage, we have more bad cards. So Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, this card doesn't do anything. Guard Dragon Pro Mines. This card would have been good if it was a tuner, but it's not. And also even then, it wouldn't have been like amazing. It just would have been like okay-ish. So yeah, don't even consider it. Witch of the Black Forest is actually kind of interesting, but I would have preferred it if Sangan could turn it into the Link 1. But with Witch of the Black Forest, in the OCG, you can go normal summon that, and then make the Link 1, and then search your deck for Max C, because Max C has low defense, but Max C is searchable by Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest. And then you can also search the field spell, which gets you to Blue Eyes Red Dragon access, etc, blah blah blah. So if you have Witch of the Black Forest and Sage with Eyes of Blue, you are playing the game. It's not too bad, but it's also not great at all. So yeah, also do not recommend Witch of the Black Forest unless there's like a super unfair hand trap that just skips your opponent's turn, like again Max C for example. And finally, the Centurion package. I used to believe that this might make sense in Blue Eyes because Primera is a spellcaster and Atri is a dragon, but it's just not worth it because when are you ever linking these off into the Link 1? You're really just using them as synchro materials, so honestly they have like no real synergy. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, let us all know in the comment section if you have more ideas for the Blue Eyes deck, because it would be my pleasure to look into them and also figure out some nice combos with them. Because you better believe I will be making so many Blue Eyes videos. I'm gonna milk the living crap out of this deck now. Because honestly, the meta is super boring. I might as well just only make videos on rogue decks nowadays. It really is that sad. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.